First time on King's tragedy? Well, let me walk you through it. Let me explain the subject like Twisted Theory for you. It's complicated. You can bust out a complex conjugative and get this going. If you know a complex conjugative, we're going to turn this into hydrogen gambit. We'll lambda H over P. Okay, so let's bring out, our first prime number set there. You're going to get what is 0, what is 1, what is 2. I mean, 2 is an even number. How can it be a prime base about what it does, but doesn't it serve the same rules about what prime is or highly composite? All right, so there's your M1, M2, XI, X1, whatever you want to say, XK, the kinetic or momentum operator inside of there. Because it's a sun. When you're talking about it, there's a lot of Brownian mechanics going on. There's the coronas. There's something to get you to iron. Remember, we're trying to take this from ion, add F in terms of the formation. So Boeing stuff here about adding F on it, and then you put a 16 on it. And it's aluminum most likely, or some pinched titanium that goes into, it wasn't a high entropy, low entropy cat. The lux is not necessarily the Kelvin indexes of the par habitable rating of whatever plants I can grow in there, or whether that'll up or down some wave function of yields somewhere's in there, or the sensor, the photo lux detector or person that says that is 1 or 0 at least by 80% of the barn. And the other thing after 80% of it could be this thing and another 80%, 80 or 10 to the 10th to the 10th, or however you go about that calculation, until somebody tells me that now the universe is 27 billion years old instead of the 13.8 billion years that it was before. But of course it was, I don't know, a few years before that, 13.6, not 12 at some point in time, and it's been creeping out. And that's important. That is the hydrogen gambit. That is what we're here to determine as far as book doctrines and an active time dependent from an origin point 0. All the vectors we want them to be in terms of our set theory is 0. We start an origin source 0. We have 0 baseball throws. We have 0 reactions or spectrometries of we did it in this here thing. We did the time. We keep the time frame 0 every time we run the evolution once. And inside of that brings up a to the power or prime, what is it? Yeah, it's a prime symbol on the equation, P prime, S prime, to the first is another example. And in that order, that means it is the vector position. You start your feet there, you build this calculation, you're going to get a higher probability of maintaining within those time frames this result, 80%, Tylenol that. Well, Heisenberg's 96%, and since the days of Heisenberg, putting food coloring back in it. Well, it's definitely a reaction. I'm going to absolutely purify the results right down to whatever any base test, M1, M2, Mn is going to do, and I'm going to start there. If humidity becomes an issue as a tailing kind of a coronal event about what it does, and Heisenberg slips up about that, short of Gus shooting me in the dome about it over here, hydrogen gambit, that's Brownian mechanics, lava staircase, and, all right, well, third, the Nine Realms book, or nine, yeah, all right, well. Oh, yeah, just pull it right to you. Come on, let it go. Well, that's sunshine for you. You can't bend that. What could you think could bend another person in this triple body problem? It's a human bolts machine, short of the Amazon clip there that it's going to put out prime. A lot of delta over there, and a lion in a field of lions. The argument still could come home. Watch the girl scar. We do the thing. You're not the big one, but you do great politics when it comes back home to the kittens and little Simba over there. And so that's an electron, right? That's me as the electron. No matter what I do from the Coulomb charge, this is his class. I will always be the function of the domain of clicking on that button as an ordinal or cardinal number in that form to whatever the base gravity was. Grabbed my attention, I absorbed into it, and was reverberated and amplified and shot out of there. And when that hits something, that's going to cause some level of negative mass. Sure, it's from this thing, it came to it and then was released from it as an emission, which is negative, regular to the baseline that it was, Bohr's radius. A little bit of fuzziness and uncertainty about, again, that thing cracking down to whatever subatomic limit before the blue hypermassive giants of the days old of the red shifted galaxy out there at apparently 13 0.6 or 12, 13 billion years or 27 billion years now about how that mechanical math works in an X, Y, Z. What we did right here is an SU3, SU4 situation. And that's kind of what's happening in general when you break down a star's core model. And there's, you got the halo, you got the coronal sphere, you got the core, the mantle and the core. And in some level that's going to do. And when you have to have the hydrogen dance do what it needs to do, then that's going to be iron. And in this case, iron, EF, I think is what, FE? FE is what it is. But we're explaining at that point in time certain things have to happen in a 3-mean. It's going to do certain things on its solar bell butterfly spectrum. It can bell curve out because it half its life, and that does its thing. It Betelgeuses. Some of them have the mass or spin X or Y where they're going to hit that light limit and go neutron star or black hole depending on the tip limit. And somewhere between there, you know, there's that electron, mu, and tau calculation. There's an up down spin. There's somebody in here that's doing the Higgs. Around that, I'm gonna hit something with a force that I'm gonna quantify as a negative, right? That's the square root of -1 or square root of a. This would be this, and again, I'm not doing that. So as a positive charge, trying to do that, trying to be one free electron that anybody could do around here. It might be chlorine gas. This is a nitric, but that's a hard bond to break, and we would both be doing it, but we might be doing it different in different positions, happening all at the same time from a missions base that is just beastie about the black body problem or the crisis in cosmetology. And that's our crisis. We have these mathematical serpent library books about where that is, and so the wanderer is just going to know instinctively about the time-dependent operator or the square well or something, it's a horse, a mouse, and, so